Hi kids, guess what we're doing today? That's right, it's just a basic straight up oil change. I'm going to show you how I go about doing an oil change today. If you don't learn how to do anything else to your own car, learn to change and maintain your own oil, especially if you own a Honda. We're going to start off by putting the car on fairly level ground. This is the most level part of my driveway. I've shown you before, but I'm going to show you again. Put your fingers behind here and pull straight out. This is my big hunk of plywood. It's covered in carpet. I slide that under here on a day like today where it's nice and sunny out, but it rained yesterday. So the ground's all muddy. I don't want to lay in the mud, so I lay on that. Before I drain anything is check my oil. I want to see what it looks like. What color is it? That's a little dark, frankly. We're where we need to be. We're between the two dots. If you're wondering, that's where you need to be. Don't overfill it. Don't underfill it. Make sure it's got the right oil and check it often. I used to change my oil about every 5,000 miles. Now I've stepped that to about 3,000 miles because these things are fickle, one, and two, this particular Honda has missed a few oil changes before I got it, I think. I think that's one of the reasons my VTEC failed so much last year. It's got a buildup of crud and sludge in there that's breaking loose and clogging up things that shouldn't be clogged. So we're looking pretty good. We don't have a big leak issue. Eventually I am going to replace this valve cover gasket, but that's a different day. So let's go ahead and pull the cork on the bottom of this. Start it draining. So here's my oil drain pan. Here's my oil drain plug. 17 millimeter wrench will take that off. Once you get it where it'll come out with your fingers, go ahead and get your pan under it and then screw it out the rest of the way. Now we're going to wait a little while and let that drain. While that's draining, it's a good time to go ahead and reacquaint ourselves with everything under the hood. You guys remember my massive video on this incredible mod. I'm going to pop that off for now because this reminds me that I haven't put any oil in it. I'm going to set it over here next to the battery. Speaking of the battery, it's a good time while we're waiting to check our terminals, make sure they're tight and that they're not covered in green fuzz. If they are, we need to clean them up, get them ready to go. Make sure our fuse box top is on there. Let's check the brake fluid level. That looks pretty good. We can also check the clutch level while we're here. It looks pretty good. This power steering, we put those rings in a little while back. Yeah, that looks right. Another one of the more important things on your car is to check your coolant level. I start checking coolant level by pulling the radiator cap and looking to see if it looks like the coolant level is up over the coils. It is. Then I want to check my reservoir and see if it looks like it's low. Right. It's not up to the max, but I can see it right here, so it's right there in the neck. I'm going to be doing a flush on that this spring, so I'm not going to top it off. I'm just looking for general issues. I do a lot of my own work, so I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. You know, I changed these motor mounts. Are they still in good shape? They look all right. I do see that my air conditioner cap that I took off to check that a little while back is missing. And I actually know where it is, but I keep forgetting to put it on. So now we're going to put it on. This cap is for the low side of your pressurized lines, and it's just a good idea to leave it on there. Little things like that. That's what we're looking for. Make sure this stuff's still in good shape. Just looking for general cleanliness. Do I see any new leaks? Looks like my valve cover gasket might be leaking. I actually plan on changing that. I've got a new valve cover gasket. That's going to be a video coming up. We're going to do a valve adjustment and replace the valve cover gasket very soon. Look for those power steering leaks. They don't look like they're leaking. They look good. The belt's in good shape. Aha. All right, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That 10mm bolt down there that I took out to replace the motor mount, I never did tighten it back up. I missed that. And that's allowed this hose to unhook off the air box. So we need to hook that back up. See, this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Little things that could potentially cause a big problem one day. If this were to break, I'd have to go looking for another air box. So let's grab a 10mm, tighten that up. Mega extensions in the deep well 10. Sounds like a band name, doesn't it? There we go, that's better. Now let's hook this hose back up. There we go. No telling how long that's been unhooked. There's a dryer sheet. Wonder where that came from. Glad I didn't suck that into my intake. Of course the filter would have got it, but still, it's kind of embarrassing. All right, that's a lot better. Let's check how our drain is going. Here, so I'm gonna go ahead and work my new plug in. All right, new plug going in. You can see by the color of this oil on my hand, it's pretty cruddy. Don't go crazy tightening that. Just needs to be in there tight enough where it won't fall out. Now, for some reason, people seem to have lots of trouble replacing this oil filter. I promise you, I cannot see it. And I don't have any trouble at all replacing it. They take the wheel off, they go at it from the bottom. I don't know. I just lean over the top of the motor, stick my arm down behind it, and unscrew it. And there we go. The new filter goes right back in. Put a little oil in the gasket. Screw the filter on. I don't find it easy. I've spent years though blind working up inside machines where I have to fix things I can't actually see. So that may be why I just don't have any issue with this. Hand tight. That's as tight as I put that on. Don't put a wrench on that. You shouldn't have to have a wrench to put your filter on. You'll cause a problem. So just put it on hand tight. Just hand tight, or the seal will make. If you put it on too tight, the seal can squish out and cause leaks, or the next time you go to try and remove it, it'll be a really big pain in the butt, and then you will have some cussing, crazy things going on. The final step is to get 4.4 quarts of your favorite flavored motor oil. I happen to like Mobil 1. Here's how you put this in without dumping it all over the place. Then the last step is to install your custom high horsepower ricer oil cap. Be sure to polish it, shine it up, make it look nice. Next move is to fire it up. Let it idle a little bit. That's gonna pump some of the oil into the filter, get everything primed, make sure everything's good. And then we're gonna check it again, make sure it's not low. Sounds good. Make sure our air box is in good shape. Let's take a look at this filter. I've been using some factory oil filters as I try and trace down my VTEC issue. Now that I've got it solved, I don't think it's been an oil filter issue. That's how I do an oil change. You might have noticed that I used a Honda factory filter in this. I really don't think that filters are super important though. People make a much bigger deal out of it than it is. If you're changing your oil every 3,000 miles, The type of oil filter that you're using really doesn't much matter. No one's ever convinced me that their motor either had its life shortened or failed because they bought a Fram oil filter. You just can't convince me of that. You'll have to show me. People put a lot more importance on how much money they spent on a filter than is necessary. You should be changing your filters often, and that's where the expense is going to come in, not because you bought an expensive filter and ran it for 10,000 miles. Anyway, till next time, this is Clint Searcy saying, scavenger type, like and subscribe. See you next week.